We all want our dogs to adore us, don't we? We want our dogs to want to be with us, to shower us with love, and for our dogs to need us just as much as we need them, right? The bond between humans and dogs can be truly amazing, though it's not always as strong as it really could be. And sometimes it needs a bit of work, just like any other relationship. If you want that incredible deep bond with your dog, then there are 7 things you must do. Let's talk about those in this video. Plus, I'll even share one very important thing that you must avoid because it could even shatter the bond. Hi, I'm Ingrid, the Norwegian Viking behind Viking Dog Girl. I hold the certificate as a pet food nutrition specialist, and I'm here every week sharing all things dog. Dog nutrition, dog health, dog lifestyle, and I like to do things the Viking way, which means no sugarcoating and no BS. I'll just give it to you straight so that you can help your dog be as healthy, happy, and live as long as possible. Now, I just think it's incredible that humans and dogs have had a special bond for so many years. Researchers think that dogs and humans have lived together for probably 30,000 plus years. That's pretty amazing, right? Still, we can't just expect to get any dog and then instantly have a very strong bond with our dog. And even if you think you have a strong bond with your dog already, it may always get better, right? Let's look at those 7 must-do things to build an incredible bond with your dog. Number 1 is probably the most obvious of them all, spending quality time with your dog. Now, this one may be obvious, though it's also one of the most important, so it's definitely something to talk about. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that quality time means that you have your full attention on your dog. That means no TV, no phone. If you're taking your dog out for a walk, for instance, don't be on your phone the whole time. This is also a time to bond with your dog. Even if your dog is paying attention to other things like sniffing the grass, peeing, all those type of things, this is a time to get to know your dog better. And when you're playing with your dog, don't be sitting on the couch watching TV and just throwing the ball or tugging in the rope. That's not being present with your dog. That's not quality time. And playing with your dog is also an amazing way for yourself to become a bit more silly, to allow yourself to be a bit goofy. So much of our days can be so serious, and having a dog at home that you can play with and be goofy with can really help both you and your dog, as well as strengthen the bond between you. Now, the more time, the better. And the key here is really to be present with your dog. Just be with your dog, be grateful for the time that you have, and build that relationship. Now, the second must-do thing is to respect your dog and try to make things positive. It's important to respect your dog's boundaries. Not every dog is a couch potato. Not every dog will enjoy hours and hours of just cuddling, for instance, and that's fine. You need to find the ways that your dog enjoys being around you and respect those things. Do more of the things that your dog loves and try to make things positive. Now, not everything in life is all roses, and that's fine, though whenever you need to do something that your dog is not really a big fan of, like for instance maybe clipping the nails, try to make it still a positive experience somehow. This can take a lot of work and time to get right, though it can be so worth it in the end. Now, must-do thing number 3 is kind of related. It's training your dog. There are several reasons why training your dog can help build that bond together. I mean, if your dog is not well trained, certain things that your dog does can really frustrate you, and you may try to punish your dog or do certain things to let your dog know it's not okay. Though, what if your dog was well trained and would simply not do those things, or easily be told not to do them if they happen anyway? You basically want to get rid of any reason to be frustrated with your dog. I mean, as we all know, communication is key in any relationship. And it's an amazing time that you can spend with your dog as well. And it can be a challenge for both of you. And once you succeed, it can build confidence and a stronger bond between the two of you. It's like the both of you are kind of learning a new language together. Now, just remember to take things slow, be very patient and consistent. Now, must-do thing number 4 is showing your dog that your dog can depend on you. Now, dogs love routines because they can predict what's going to happen, and that's great. Sometimes it can be fine to break that routine sometimes, but most of the time, dogs love routines. And that's a way of showing your dog that your dog can depend on you to do these certain things every day at those times. And you need to make sure that your dog has everything he or she needs. Of course, food, water, being able to go outside when necessary, and also being able to take a break whenever that's necessary, especially if your home may be very noisy at times or there's a lot of people around. Having at least some way for your dog to get away from it all is very important. Basically, you want to show your dog that you're there as someone your dog can depend on to take care of him or herself. Now, must-do thing number 5 is a bit related. It is to be consistent. Don't let your dog on the couch one day and then punish your dog for doing the same the next day. And don't give your dog some food from the table and then be angry with your dog for begging at the table afterward. Try to see it from your dog's point of view and realize that your dog's behavior makes sense, though your punishments don't make sense. This is something that can be frustrating for both you and your dog. So try to be consistent to, instead of shattering that bond, you're creating a stronger bond. By the way, for more tips on living the best life with dogs, then remember to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to follow my channel. And remember to follow me on Instagram at Viking Dog. Now, there are 2 must-do things left, and the last one I think is super important. Though let's look at must-do thing number 6 first. And that is to do a challenge together. Maybe you can climb a mountain together or learn something new, learn some new tricks, maybe even do some agility together. Start with something that's difficult, though, that you know you can manage. This can help you build confidence together, and having it a bit challenging and then having your dog next to you and vice versa can be a great way to build that bond even stronger. Even if you just end up spending more time outdoors together, maybe even you do a challenge where you're supposed to do a certain number of steps or something like that, or maybe start running. It can be great for both your health. You get to spend more time outdoors, which can be amazing, and it can be a great thing for your dog as well. One of the keys to a strong relationship, it could be with a dog or it can be with other people as well, is to feel good with yourself, each party. So being the best that you can, and for the other person or dog to be the best that they can really help to build the bond together as well. If this is not the case, we often bring our own personal frustrations into the relationship. So taking care of yourself and making sure that you do everything to take care of your dog can help the bond between the two of you. And that brings us to must-do thing number 7, which is to feed a nutritious and delicious diet. Now, what you feed your dog is one of the most important things for your dog's health and well-being. And as we've just talked about, feeling good, being healthy is very important for even the bond between you and your dog. And knowing that you are doing the best that you possibly can for your dog, I think can even help itself. And being the one that provides this amazingly healthy and delicious food makes you super important in your dog's eyes. Now, it's important to remember that this is not about feeding lots of treats. That can be a bit tempting, to feed lots of treats to your dog, thinking that your dog will love you more for it. Your dog will certainly love all those treats, but it's not necessarily healthy for your dog to eat all those treats. And it's not necessarily going to make your dog love you anymore. Food, however, is necessary, and being the one that provides the healthiest and the most delicious food, as we talked about, can make you a very important person in your dog's life. Now, before we talk about that one thing that may even shatter the bond between you and your dog, you might be wondering, what should you feed your dog? Now, dog food manufacturers will of course do almost anything to make us believe that their food is the healthiest, though they can't all be right. And here's the thing, we know whole, fresh, unprocessed food is the healthiest for us humans. And it makes sense that it would be for our dogs as well. They don't even know how to cook their own food. So real fresh food must be the most natural thing for a dog. And when we think about what dogs have actually evolved to eat, which naturally will be what they are supposed to eat for their health, a lot of the dog food ingredients don't even make sense for dogs. They can be completely unnatural, even if they are whole foods. And this can be the case for pretty much any dog food, even if they claim to be natural, holistic, gourmet. Now, we're talking about building the best possible bond with your dog in this video, though as mentioned, making sure that your dog feels and is the healthiest as possible is important for this bond. Now, if you want to feed completely natural, fresh, real food to your dog that makes sense for dogs to eat as well, then one of the best ways is to feed a homemade diet. This way you know exactly what your dog is eating and you can make it as healthy as possible. And just note that some people make this a bit complicated, though it can be quite simple to feed a all-natural, nutritious and delicious homemade diet. It can even take just a few minutes on a day-to-day basis. To show how simple it can be to feed this kind of diet to dogs, I made what I've called the Viking Dog Diet system. This system shows you step by step how to feed an all-natural, super nutritious and delicious diet to dogs in a simple way, including meal examples and even meal by meal how to transition your dog to this natural diet. Make sure you feed the best possible diet to your dog, both for your dog's health and also to strengthen the bond between the two of you. If you want to check out the Viking Dog Diet system, then head over to vikingdogdiet.com. You may find the link below this video. Now, what is that one thing that may shatter the bond between the two of you? It is expectations. For instance, if you expect your dog to lay on the couch with you for hours and hours, or if you expect your dog to shower you with kisses whenever, or if you expect your dog to behave at any certain time, expectations can ruin any relationship. I mean, don't expect your dog to know that chewing on your shoes is not okay unless you've taught your dog specifically that it's not okay. Don't expect your dog to not pull on the leash or to not bark at other dogs unless you have taught your dog that that's not okay. That's one of the reasons training your dog is so important, also for the bond between the two of you. However, don't expect your dog to learn things fast either. Of course, if your dog does learn things fast, that's amazing. Though don't expect this. You need to expect to to spend lots of time training your dog and to understanding the behavior of your dog. Remember, your dog is an individual. Not all dogs are going to love being around the people all the time, for instance. Some dogs need more time by themselves. Some dogs love being around other dogs, some don't. Try to do your best to understand what your dog enjoys. Do lots of those things. Try to make your dog's life as happy and positive as possible. And don't expect anything in return. Be grateful for everything that your dog gives you in his or her own way. You have the dog that you have, and you need to find ways to strengthen the bond between the two of you. Once you stop expecting your dog to love you in a certain way or to act in a certain way, and instead start to look at the dog in front of you and appreciate what you do have, you might be pleasantly surprised. Now, that's it. I hope you enjoyed all these tips. I hope you take some of them into account and build that bond with your dog. Remember that food is super important for your dog's health, which is also important for the bond between the two of you, because you and your dog need to feel amazing. You need to feel good and be healthy to strengthen that bond. So remember to check out my Viking Dog Diet system at vikingdogdiet.com. And remember to click the thumbs up and share the video. Give your beautiful dog a hug from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.